Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dewy del Mar. Today we are completely redesigning our transit system. We'll finally add subways, redo all of our bus routes, and think about how to efficiently move people from one end of the city to the other. My goal here is threefold. Learn about good transit design principles, apply them in-game and increase our overall transit usage, and give y'all concrete ways to improve transit in your cities too. To that end, I'll go over strategies for planning subways, bus routes, and transfer points, and then we'll build them in Dewy del Mar itself. I probably won't touch our trams or trains because those are pretty well established in the city, but I'll definitely talk about them in the planning phase. And last, in case you didn't see my community post, I did indeed change my name from Skills That Kills 11 to Skills Builds. Figured I should have a name that better reflects what we do here. And thank you to Acid9112 for inspiring this name. But alright, with that out of the way, let's begin. Okay, how to build a transit network. There are two concepts that I want to keep in mind. First is transit hierarchy, and just like we have roadway hierarchy where, highways lead into arterials and then collectors and then local access roads, and the degree of access to specific places kind of increases as you move down the list, we can do something similar with our transit. And for the visual folks, I made this incredibly scientific graph to better show this relationship between capacity and speed and access. And the general trend is the more capacity, the higher speed you're going, the less access points you'll have, aka fewer number of stops. So the top, like highways, we have trains. These are going to cover the longest distances, they go the fastest, but they have the fewest number of stops. Below that, we have metros, which can still move a lot of people, but they have more frequent stops, and they usually cover like a single metropolitan area, whereas trains are going to connect multiple cities. And finally, at the local level, we have trams and buses. Trams, I said, have a little bit less access just because they need a dedicated tram line, whereas buses can go on any road. But these provide the most access, the most granular. And the goal is to have locations where you can easily move from one type to another, like at transfer points. So for example, someone from Paradise Hills could take the tram line, go down to Central Station and then catch the train there to the countryside to go ski or sip tea at our little European village there, or go to the harbor for work or any external connection. But the idea is we're funneling people from low capacity transit, the tram line, into high capacity transit, the train, the farther they want to go. And then we also want to avoid redundant lines. Like for example, we're not going to do a bus line that just mirrors the tram line along Palm Tree Way because the tram is covering that perfectly fine. But obviously the lines can blur, sometimes we have long distance express buses between cities. But I think for Dewy del Mar, we have pretty good train coverage. Like we have a train stop in the countryside and by the harbor, so we don't need buses like that, but you will see those in reality, kind of like with the Greyhound bus on the east coast of the United States. Okay, that's the first concept, and if transit hierarchy tells us what we should build, the second concept tells us where we should build, and that is origin destination analysis. And that sounds fancy, but it's basically seeing where are people coming from and where are they going, and then building our lines accordingly. And there are a couple of tools we can use to analyze that in-game, the first one being the traffic tab. So if you open this up, we can see that, the downtown is pretty red. That tells us, that makes sense, it's pretty gridlocked. That tells us if we maximize public transit here, we could alleviate some congestion in these roads, but also traffic volume. And so you can see some immediate culprits. We got the Lake Street Bridge, this bridge, the Palm Tree Way Bridge, our main interchange into downtown, which is Paseo Principal, and then up by Gruber Triangle as well. And New Rickman, both of which have highway entry points. But we can see that this is mostly people coming from outside the Beltway, going over these primarily 3 connection points. And that kind of seems right, it's probably people coming from the suburbs, going into the downtown area for work, and then commuting back out at the end of the day. And that tells us we should probably, connect our suburbs into the higher density areas, and that totally tracks reality. The other tool, which in my opinion is not as helpful, is surveying individual sims to see where they're going. So if we pause the game, for example, and get this one, going shopping. Okay, so this tells me that they're going shopping, probably does actually have the exact destination. It does Auto Center. Excellent, they're gonna buy a car. That car looks fine, but that's just me. So this tells me that, the shopping center is probably a destination, and that tracks. But again, that's on an individual level, and I don't know of a way to kind of analyze that in bulk, or if there's a mod out there. But if you do, let me know, because that would be super helpful. But with that being said, I usually rely on traffic flow and traffic volume, and just kind of common sense. Obviously the downtown area is going to be a huge destination, as well as our stadium district and on the big job centers. But okay, let's put this in practice. So we got a bird's eye view of the main part of the city right here, and I want to mark our origins and destinations so we can better map out potential subway lines. And then we can see kind of what gaps there are that could be filled with buses or trams, which we'll use to funnel people to the higher capacity stuff. And then in some cases could even connect adjacent districts. And so after looking at the traffic volume and then just knowing where most of our residential zoning is, I think these would be our origins, at least to start. And these are primarily suburban residential places. So we got Penelope Park, our new suburb. We saw people going over the Lake Street Bridge here, probably going to and from Penelope Park. New Rickman and Little Artesia. This is actually really dense, so a lot of people are living here. Same with the Gruber Triangle and Allen Heights, and then our OG suburbs of San Alvaro Heights and Marco del Mar. So since these are primarily residential, it makes sense that people are coming from these places. As for destinations, I think these make sense. So no surprise, we got the downtown area, Central Station, a lot of touristy areas like the Grand Central Library, Theater District, Sunnyside Park, City Hall. Up here, we got a bunch of jobs in the Port of Dewy del Mar and the train yards. We saw some traffic flow along Dale Street here, funneling people to those jobs. As we saw by surveying our sim up here, the shopping district is probably a big destination. And then I'm going to say that the stadium district is as well, even though the simulation probably doesn't think a lot's happening here, since we just have the single park asset and some mixed use development. In reality, this would be a huge destination. More jobs in the Diego Industrial Plant, Diego Industrial Park, so definitely want to make it easy to get there. And then finally, even though we haven't built it yet, the new city center will obviously be a big destination, a lot of touristy things there, jobs, but also probably Origin, because we'll have like residential skyscrapers as well. And then thinking about future development, I think these would make sense as future suburbs. So we could extend Penelope Park into the hills here, develop south of the new downtown. This could be like a museum district, more suburbs in the hills down here. And of course we have golden sand beaches, so I think we should extend residences and even like resorty areas up along the beach here. But cool, this gives us enough data, I think, where we can start mapping out our subway lines, and I'm gonna use a markup tool. Let's start with a nice bright white color. And the first line I wanna do is gonna go through downtown. And you'll see on a bunch of subway maps across the world where different lines will share the same track, and we can do that here as well, just to like minimize construction. But let's start from going down here. It's gonna cut across the new city center, veer to the right to kind of serve the U District area, although not all the way because we do have the tram line going down there, but it can serve this area before veering up, serving East and West Old Town, hitting up Central Station. This is gonna be a huge transfer point. I'm gonna denote that by circling it. Then we'll make our way up, go past the Port of Dewy del Mar, hit the train yards, and terminate, for now, in New Rickman and Little Artesia. And I'm not going straight up here because remember, we do have the tram line serving this area instead. Let's change colors. How about this one? We'll do another downtown route serving this suburb, or this eventual suburb, I should say. And we're gonna parallel this track, if not share it. And here we can have multiple transfer stops along the new downtown area. It's gonna be super dense here, but we're gonna go up, serve the stadium district before cutting across, hitting Central Station again, another transfer point, and then I think veer back down to serve San Alvaro Heights. And also, this is a pretty commercialized strip along the beach here, so a lot of activity we want to provide access to here. Next color, what do we got? How about a nice, disgusting green, lime green here. For this one, let's serve the Diego Industrial Park, and I think this is the line that will also connect to our depot. We have a nice big open space right here that I think would serve us well, so we'll connect there, get a stop on the industrial park, and then we're going to start sharing the line with the stadium district, transfer point there, go through Central Station, another transfer point, and this is the one that's going to serve Marco del Mar and these eventual suburbs I'm thinking about along the beach. And yes, we do have the tram line serving Marco del Mar, but it stops there. And again, I want this to kind of extend up here and serve whatever development we got along the coast there. And I think we have room for maybe one more. And what I'm thinking is, wrong tool, this color. Let's hit up the shopping district / Penelope Park. We'll just have a single stop here because we can easily use buses to funnel people from Penelope Park into the shopping district here. Go across the river, kind of alleviate traffic along the Lake Street Bridge there. And from here, I think we're going to share the line with the white line. Go down here, come across downtown. But once we bypass downtown, this could go kind of in between these two lines and serve whatever suburbs we do in between them. But again, more transfer points along the downtown area, probably by the U District, and if we have room, by a City Hall station. And from here, we can see potential gaps in coverage that can be filled with buses and tram lines. So for example, right in the center here, we have a big gap from subway lines, but we got the tram line already serving that area. So you could easily hop on the tram line from Paradise Hills like we saw, go down to Central Station and literally hit up any of the metro lines. Same between Gruber Triangle and downtown. We have this existing tram line here, and you could argue that we probably overextend the tram line, but it is what it is. So easy to get on the tram line there, go to Central Station, and again, access any of our subway lines. Other places though, we can make bus routes like between Gruber Triangle and New Rickman, since those are adjacent, or Penelope Park to the Stadium District, and or the Diego Industrial Park, since those are pretty close. But this just shows that you don't really need a subway line between each destination and each origin, because otherwise you're just gonna have like a really tangled map of lines. That's gonna be hard to understand and probably really expensive to construct. All right, with all that said, I think it's finally time to start building. And I want to start by going nuclear on all of our bus routes, except those at like dedicated stations like Central Station and City Hall Station. I've been adding them haphazardly throughout the series, and the lines are just kind of all over the place, so I think it makes sense to start from scratch. So yeah, let's go on a quick bulldozing spree. All right, all of our buses are gone. They're probably traveling back to the depots right now, and I think we'll let those settle, let those kind of drain their passengers. I'm kind of interested to see what happens with the traffic flow, but for now, let's get started on metros. Okay, as I mentioned, I think this would be a good spot for our subway yards. It's pretty open, it's relatively flat. It's already next to some pretty polluting industry, so we're not gonna make any NIMBYs mad. And it'll have a nice direct access to our industrial park, our Diego Industrial Park line. One thing though, I don't know why there's this big kink in the highway here. It's not like it's avoiding a giant hill or anything, so I am going to just quickly straighten out this segment, and that'll give us a little more breathing room for our subway yards. So yeah, let me quickly do that. Okay, I think that looks a lot more reasonable. And then I extended the merge lane and the exit lane just to give our cars a little more breathing room as well. But all right, I think we got to buy our subway. We do 4 points against our 77, so we are A-okay on that front. So yeah, since the line's gonna go this way, we'll have it go in between Del Mar Gas and Light Power Station and the highway. So let's orient it kind of parallel to the highway. I'm thinking kind of like this. And then I'm not gonna buy these tiles just for a little slice of train track like that, but I wanna make sure there's enough room in between this and the highway right now to add the maintenance yard extension, I think it's called. We'll do it down like this, sure. And I also want to immediately upgrade it with more capacity because we're gonna do several lines today. All right, let's connect it up to this road right here. We'll just do like a snake, and that'll leave some room for future industrial expansion. All right, it's all connected to, what is that? Water, sewage, and electricity, duh. All right, so yeah, since our line's going this way, again, it's gonna go in between power station and highway. Let's make sure we got a nice smooth slope. I think I read somewhere that subway line should be below 6%, but honestly that seems a little steep to me, so we're gonna try to keep it at or below 5%, I think. Okay, let's see. We got several connections to make here, and we'll leave these connections be for now, although we do have a little room here to go maybe underneath the highway should we ever start serving suburbs over here with the subway. But for now, we'll just concentrate on this side. Okay, I think that's enough tracks for now. Maybe we could get some kind of fake stops in this spot over here, kind of like we do with our train yards, like these guys right here. But again, I don't want to do or focus too much on detailing this episode. This is more just about managing our transit network. However, a lot of low-hanging fruit I think we can do later. All right, great. Our depot's in place, so we can start laying down our subway lines. And I want to mention, in between the time I laid down this depot, which was last night my time, and now we got a new patch. So we have a couple of new icons here, and I guess a couple of bug fixes. You can start moving sub-buildings on the modern architecture assets around more freely, so that's cool. But yeah, not a huge change. So for these subway stops, I'm thinking let's do all of the stops across the entire network, just because that's the fun part, you know, seeing where can we grant the most access, what are some good transfer opportunities. And then afterwards, I'll probably just speed through connecting them with the actual subway lines because that's underground. You can't really see much and it's a little boring. So I'll probably just speed through that afterwards. But yeah, let's start over in the Diego Industrial Park. And there's a good spot, I think, right here. This is a custom plaza, so nothing's actually happening here. It's big enough, no eminent domain, and it's right next to this bus station. So this would be a great transfer opportunity. So yeah, let me remove these props and then we'll place down the subway station. Right in the center there, and honestly, that's probably all we have to do. I guess I could get some plants back here, maybe. And I'm detailing. I said I wouldn't do that, but can't stop the urge. But all right, that was easy enough, and that's going to be the only spot in our Diego Industrial Park, because then we'll use buses with the bus station to let people kind of go to and fro, like the office park over here, and then the more industrial assets down there. All right, next is going to be the stadium line. And when I built this district, you may recall I purposefully left this spot open for a subway station. So let's plop that in. I don't think the modern metro station is going to fit because it's perpendicular. So yeah, we'd have to place it along Pacific Street, and then it's going to pop out like it's just too big for this roundabout. So that's okay. This one looks fine. Okay, that's all well and good. Just make sure we have enough clearance below it as well. This is going to be a little weird. We're going to have to go underneath the train tracks because for our next stop, the central station, there's not really a good place to put it on this side of the station. We could put it like in a building, which I've seen before, like we have that here in Seattle. But it would be nice to A, keep it next to the tram and bus stops over here for easier access. And B, I guess realistically, like all these subway lines would be below the entire central station, but like in the game, we need to attach this subway station to one of the roads, and all the roads are at a higher level. So I don't think we could make that work, unfortunately, but I mean, that's okay. You know, we are bound by the simulation of the game, and I'm fine with that. For the central station stop, I'm thinking let's repurpose this parking lot right here because it is right next to the bus station and the tram station. And also, this is a custom one, so we're not earning any fees like we are from this one. And good, I want to make sure that was maxed out. All right, let's delete this line. And this is one that I want to have a cross station. Unfortunately, we don't have a native asset like that. We only have this one and the modern metro station, and neither have like a cross section, a perpendicular set of tracks, but we can kind of fake it with a little bit of anarchy. So let's do modern metro station, and this is the one where the station entrance is perpendicular to the track. So let's place it over here. And then on this side is where we will do the regular one. And we're gonna need a little bit of anarchy, not a little bit, we're gonna need anarchy because these are at the same depth. And so these tracks are gonna cross right there. But you know, in reality, one of these lines would be beneath the other, which I've seen all the time where you have to like go down the escalators to get to the next line. And that's a-okay. But let's make these surfaces a little consistent. I'm gonna repurpose this surface right here. Oh, and this reminds me, I'm gonna do this for the other two stops. I wanna immediately upgrade them with all the entertainment value, just to better entice people to use our new metro. Okay, that took me a second. But that's all well and good. And yeah, let's immediately upgrade these. Station roof. This upgrade adds a parallel track, which we don't need right now. But same for this one. Let's get some wining and dining. And then same for these over here. All right, that's looking good. And I can probably do a little bit more detailing. I deleted those bike racks. We don't have bikes yet, but someday, so let's get them back. All right, looking a little better, and yeah, nice synergy because we got the bus station right there, and I'm probably gonna expand the lines a little bit here. This always gets backed up, and then the tram station right there, and then of course our train station. So we literally have all the transit options here, minus like, you know, an airport. But let's make sure that underground, everything looks a-okay. And, ooh, I'm probably have to move this power line. Or it looks a little bit of, no, it's right on the track. Yeah, what I'm gonna do is probably disconnect this power line because we got it going on this side of the river anyway, and then we can reconnect it on that side. In fact, I'm gonna do that right now, so give me 2 seconds. All right, sorry for the quick detour. All I did was make sure we didn't have high capacity lines go right underneath the city, and instead chose to build them underneath the highway. I feel like that would be a little easier to maintain, but also fix the connection where we were actually importing electricity, so we are now fully energy independent. But that means we can, you know, safely build some subway stations without crossing power lines. And next one we're going to do is Marco del Mar. So this is going to be the terminal stop of the first line, where it's, you know, Diego Industrial Park, Stadium District, Central Station, and then Marco del Mar. I think it's a little too busy and chaotic in Paseo Principal to stuff in one more. Plus we got the tram stop right there. And yes, we do have a tram stop by Marco del Mar as well. But figured let's get one stop in between Central Station and our eventual lines out here. And plus, we just got this open space right next to the school, so easy access for students. All right, and those are all the stops we need for our first line. So next one, let's tackle the ones that go through the new city, or the eventual new city, I should say. So I mentioned we'll have one come here, hit up U District, and not all the way since we got the tram there as well. But I think let's get a modern metro stop, maybe like right in this corner here. Immediately upgrade it, and that reminds me I gotta upgrade this one as well. And so this will swoop up here. And now I'm thinking I do want to have one more metro stop before Central Station. Even though it's very close, this is super dense. And I think it would just be cool to have a stop by the Grand Central Library, since that's a cool tourist destination next to the theater district here. Tram stop over there for some transfer points. And also we have this corner park here. We got two actually, so we could repurpose one pretty easily. So I'm gonna get rid of these props. Okay, and if we look underground, this is very close to this track right here. But again, I've seen very close stops actually here in Seattle, in the downtown area. So that's okay. Just maximizing access, we're gonna say. But if that's the Old Town stop, Central Station, I think we can fit one in City Hall Station. So this is the last station before it'll branch off into our two lines, one that goes north towards the port, one that crosses the river and then heads towards Isabella Shores. So I think, yikes. Let's do City Hall since, you know, we got this open space right here. I think the modern metro station would go well with that aesthetic. And plus we got the bus stop right here. Besides, you know, the fact that there's a traffic accident burning it down. I'm gonna remove this, not this surface, oof. Upgrade it, and I once again forgot to upgrade this one. 8th time's the charm. And you can see that because this is a custom pavement surface, it overrides the green texture in there, the grass. That's okay. I'm going to delete these sub props and put that fountain back. All right, City Hall Station, you are done. And yep, we can see underneath here is where it'll branch off. But let's do the line that goes past Port of Dewy del Mar first. Oh, what is happening here? Oh, you know what? Okay, see how we have a vehicle prop right here? I bet if I delete this, these buses are gonna move. Hey, look at that. Okay, so that's some weird bug where the custom props block the pathfinding. And that's what I saw when I tried to do a car on top of our auto dealership rock thing there. And so, yeah, that's super weird. I wonder if y'all have seen that, and if you know a fix for that, let me know. But let's get back to it. I'm thinking to serve the port and the train yards, let's get right in this corner here because it's easy access to both, pretty in between, I think. And yeah, easy access to the rail depot, which is a big, only 14 jobs. Well, I was gonna think that was a big job center, but I stand corrected. And I think we're gonna have to make this guy a little smaller. Okay, not the prettiest subway station, but it gets the job done. And you know what? I'm gonna remember to upgrade it this time. Look at me. The last stop on this line is gonna be by New Rickman, and I see we have some duplicate assets here and also some surfaces missing. Huh, that building probably upgraded and destroyed my surface. That's okay. But yeah, to reduce some duplication, let's get this right next to the parking lot that is also next to our custom path across the train station. So let me dezone this poor soul. And this should be big enough for another stop right in the middle. Yep, 3 units. All right, upgrading it, and I think that's where our line will end for now. And again, once we start developing like a little lake town over here, maybe that subway line is in perfect position to serve, yeah, whatever we build there. And maybe eventually can meet up with this line there, or we'll get like a cross section bus route or something like that. But all right, so that is good for our first downtown line, which we will have more stops around here and around here probably, but it'll come into U District, veer up, hit Old Town, Central Station, City Hall Station, then come up, hit the port in the train yards, and then New Rickman. So for this line, the only other stop we need is the one by Isabella Shores to serve our shopping center. And then again, we'll probably get like a bus route to funnel people from Penelope Park into the shopping center subway station itself. And I think let's use this corner right here. So I'm gonna get rid of this plopped building. All right, so this is almost the same line, at least through the downtown section. And again, once we veer off here, maybe it can go in between the 2 lines that we had for our suburbs out here. But yeah, it's gonna share the track for pretty much everything else for now, which means I think the last line we need to do is the one that reaches San Alvaro Heights. So we'll have some stops here. And what I'm gonna do to make that more apparent is when I lay down the tracks, I'll do like little X cross sections to note where I want future stops to be, but I don't want actually to build the stop if nothing's gonna use it. But it's gonna come up here, hit the Stadium District, Central Station, then come down to a new stop by the Commercial Strip, the Beach Strip on San Alvaro Heights. And I think I see some more duplicate assets, so let's get rid of one of these. And then I'm gonna shift these 2 over. And I think we should have enough room in there if I key wallify this. All right, and that was the last stop we needed to place so we can start connecting all of them underground. And so again, hopefully Editor Skills is showing you the picture We'll have one go kind of straight across from Diego Industrial Park all the way out to Marco del Mar, 2 up the center of Central Station, hitting City Hall Station, and then branching off from there, and then one that goes by the Stadium District and veers down to San Alvaro Heights. So I'm going to speed through this. All right, and our lines are all laid down. You can take a look underground. There they are in all their glory. So you can see I made some X marks the spots for future stops, since I didn't really want to actually purchase subway stations. The only one I actually purchased was the one right here, mostly so I could just extend the line that goes through the Stadium District, since we'll have 2 lines going through there, and I wanted to be able to actually see, the 2 different lines and where their future development will go. But with that out of the way, we got to name our system now. And the name I've come up with so far is the Dewy Underground Rapid Transit System, or DIRTS for short. So we'll have like the DIRTS 1 line, the DIRTS 2 line, 3 and 4 line. That's what I've come up with. But if you all have any name suggestions, please let me know. By all means, they have to have a good acronym though. It's something that rolls off the tongue. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually create these lines now. Okay, all of our lines are made, and I double checked that they do connect to all the stops we were talking about. Made them different colors, and they all have trains. One thing I want to do though is make them all free, and also to use the minimum number of trains right now, since this is a very new system, and really it's not going to pick up into overdrive until we start building the new city center. So yeah, I'm going to make them all free, really entice people to use these public transportation lines, but also don't bankrupt us. And what we can do is continue to monitor this to see if we're reaching max capacity, which it's 1 a.m. in the morning according to the city, so I don't expect a lot of people to be using it. But honestly, I'm surprised that this many people are already using it, so I guess that's good to see. But okay, I think that is what I want to do with our metro system. This is really going to be like the powerhouse of our entire transit system, since it's covered the entire metropolitan area. Whereas the tram system, which I think is by far the most used right now, especially since we got rid of buses. Yeah, 14,000 out of our 20,000 usage. So right now that's the backbone of this because it's serving the entire downtown area, what is the only downtown right now. But I expect that to change once we start to build out the new city center, expand this way. So I feel like the tram is more for local access within the old town, and that's totally fine. But I think that means we're ready to move on to our bus system. So this is gonna be exciting. What I wanna do is go through the different types of bus routes we'll have, and then we're gonna return to that train diagram, the subway diagram, and start laying out our potential bus lines to fill in the gaps. All right, and we are back in our official Dewy del Mar metro map, the one that's going to appear when you go down into the subway station. This is what's going to show on the wall. I've decided. But for us, buses are really going to like provide that last mile connectivity, and there are 3 route types that we can think about. One is crosstown routes, so providing direct connections between important places that aren't already served by a metro line. So for example, getting from Penelope Park to the Stadium District, you would have to take the metro to Central Station and then cross over. But that's a nice, easy direct connection because they're pretty adjacent. Same for U District to DiMaggio Shores and Stadium District and back. No subway there that kind of serves that, or tram line. So that's an easy direct connection that would be very useful, and also kind of the backbone here of the suburbs. So that's one, crosstown connections. Next are kind of local circulators. And those are like small lines that operate within a neighborhood. And they can also, in our purpose, feed people or funnel people to the high capacity metro transit. So for example, Penelope Park, we can have one that kind of circles, takes you to Prospector Park, the high school and stuff like that, but also takes you to the shopping center and the metro station there. And then the last type are the express routes, which are kind of long distance. We'll use them to connect like City Hall Station and Central Station to external connections, external cities, and maybe we'll go to the countryside as well. Even though we have a train route, you would have to come to Central Station to get that. So yeah, those are the 3 types I'm thinking about. So now let's try to mark up where I want to lay down these lines. Okay, if you can't tell, there's a new line color on the map, this bright yellowish looking thing. And these are going to be our connector routes. So we have one going from the U District to the Stadium District and back, get those college students up to the game, back to the dorm safely. As we mentioned, from Penelope Park down to the Stadium District as well, kind of a loop back around to get back on the highway there. One from this suburb to Diego Industrial Park as well, and I have it going down this highway to serve this future development out here. One that serves these suburbs back here. I realize all the subways from this direction kind of funnel people towards downtown, so it's not an easy way to get around these suburbs itself. Plus we have some jobs and commercial activity in Gruber Triangle, so want to make it easier for people in New Rickman, Marco Del Mar, San Alvaro Heights to get down here. And then next to that, we have a central loop here. Realized it wasn't that easy to get from these suburbs to San Iglesias College, so I want to funnel people down there and have a nice transfer point by the central station. And then last, we have a Riverside Park line, kind of an out and back, to help people get to these tourist attractions. Next, this new bright cyanish line are our circulators. So in Diego Industrial Park, we have one going up and down to funnel people to and from jobs within this district. Same for this loop by Penelope Park, get people from Penelope Park, the suburb area, to the shopping district and Prospector Park. Gonna have an east and west loop throughout Old Town. And you could argue this could be a connector as well, since it's going up to Paseo Principal, but figured, let's get something that goes through the densest part of the city, which is east and west Old Town, up to Central Station and around. Of course, we have our Gruber Triangle loop. I think we actually had that before and I just deleted it. But and then last, we have one that serves Santa Ana Farms and Sierra Industries, which is probably our least covered area right now, but figured we do have people living here, so give them a better way to get to the college and then around these jobs. And I figured, we got these connector lines by San Alvaro Heights and Marco Del Mar, so I don't think we need circulators or local lines here yet. These are all rich people anyway with Maseratis. They probably prefer that over the buses anyway. And then last, we have our express lines. So these are the ones that are going to go from Central Station and or City Hall Station to our outside cities. Okay, that was a lot very quickly, but wanted to make sure we actually get back to building. So let's create these lines in the map now. All right, and we're back in game. So I'm gonna do the same groupings. We'll do connector routes first, then circulators, and then the few long distance express bus routes. But in the interest of time, what I think I'll do is just quickly lay down the bus stops, because we need those before we can actually draw the line. Then draw the line, and then after each group, I'll do a recap to show what I did. One thing though I realized, so in our U District to Stadium District connector line, I'm going to bring back the tram road so it terminates by the hospital. I feel like I'm overextending the tram line now, especially since we're gonna have the subway there and a circulator bus route. Things are gonna get a little redundant. That does mean, however, I'm gonna have to replace one of these roads with the single tram line and then shift all these props over. So let me quickly handle that. Okay, Briar Rose Street is all set up and fixed the lane math in that roundabout over there. And then I confirmed that our tram line is indeed still coming to the hospital, so that connection is still there. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and make all the bus stops and lines for our connector group, our connector route type. And where applicable, I will have bus stops on both sides of the street so we can have bi-directional routes. And most importantly, I forgot the name for our bus system, at least the local ones, is going to be the Dewey Metropolitan Bus System, or DIMBUS. I feel like I'm 5 years old right now. I'll do DIMBUS U District Stadium lined. And then we'll have clockwise and counterclockwise. All right, I think our connector routes are all set up. Let's take a quick tour of what we did. So where it made sense, like if we were literally going in a loop or in a circle, I made clockwise variations and counterclockwise variations. And that's just to make it easier. Like if you're at the Arboretum and you want to go to Gruber Triangle down here, if we had only a one-way route, you would have to go all the way around here to get down there when it's really like, a quarter mile away. So when you have loops like this, it helps to have two variations. But for ones that are like out and backs, kind of like Riverside Park line, which funnels people from City Hall Station down along the park here and gets people to these attractions, since that's an out and back, you're okay with one line. But all the other ones we set up are what we discussed. So we got two from Penelope Park / Isabella Shores, one to the Stadium District, one to the Diego Industrial Line. And the Diego Industrial Line takes this Riverside Highway to kind of serve future development down here. But as you can see, got stops by the big shopping center and our shopping district, our strip mall over here with a transfer point to the metro there. Diego Industrial Line's we got the bus station there, so that's really like the main stop for our connector route, but transfer point to the metro there. I also added two stops here to serve this set of offices. By the Riverside Park, of course, we got City Hall Station and Sunnyside Park, but also a couple stops along Marco Vasquez Riverside Park to serve people up to the attractions we have there. And then it loops around La Porta, one by the school, one by this park right there. The long one from San Alvaro Heights to Little Ortizia, one by our beach commercial strip, one in the center of this, Hickory Street, kind of collector so we can get people who are living down here. One in between our tram stop and the metro stop / schools, so for easier transfer points there. Of course, by Gruber Triangle, by the tram stop as well. This is the main street there. By the Morrisseys, and then one, or a couple actually in New Brickman, one by Metro Stop, but also to kind of serve this denser area right here. And of course, Little Ortizia. And the center loop one stops by Bark Bark Pond, as promised. But okay, if those are the longer bus routes, now we can set up our circulators. All right, and our circulator routes are all ready to go. Hopefully I can present this in such a way that you can actually see them. If I hover over, there we go. Okay, here's the Diego Industrial Park line. As you can see, it kind of just goes up and down the entire stretch. No loops, so a single line there. Over in Penelope Park, we have a clockwise and counterclockwise loops for, wow, I can barely see that, but if you can see that, good for you. It goes, you know, from right in front of the schools, picks up people in this residential area right there, through Prospector Park, since this is a job center, up by the commercial strip and the big supermarket here. But yep, we got a clockwise and counterclockwise loop for that. Over in Santa Ana Gardens, oh, I can actually see that. But you can see that clockwise loop or counterclockwise, can't tell which one, that goes through the port of Dewy del Mar, City Hall Station, and then up through Santa Ana Gardens and brings all these people to the college as well, up through Sierra Industries. And so 2 loops for that. And then over by Old Town, this is kind of the bigger one. Oh, nice, that's a good visible route. So you can see it goes around the central station. I moved some bus stops that were right here, 1 block over, because we have a nice pathway, I forgot, that leads right to this central hub. So I figured that was a little easier than if the bus stops were right there. We got our clockwise and counterclockwise loops right there. And you can see that it goes over by Paseo Principal, down through La Puerta and East and West Old Town, up by Sunnyside Park. And then last but not least, we have our Gruber Triangle loop, which is really just a loop, clockwise, counterclockwise for those as well. I'm wondering if we need a loop for New Rickman and Little Ortiz as well, just something local here. But I'm gonna say no for now, just because we have a couple of connectors going through there, this black line and the this one, this pinkish thing. Yeah, but the one that goes down to San Alvaro Heights. So with these two, you should be able to get to any destination, but yeah, we'll check the usage out there later. Same for over here by San Alvaro Heights. We have the existing connector that takes people from the metro here all the way through, and we got a couple stops here. So this goes both ways. It's a down and back. So I think we are okay. I don't think we need a circulator here right now, especially since it's more suburban. I'm assuming all these people have cars, and these are all the rich people, so they definitely have Maseratis and stuff. They probably prefer that over buses anyway. All right, and how could I forget our harbor lines, and also got some over by the countryside. So we take a look. We got 2 in the countryside, 2 loops, clockwise and counterclockwise along the highway there, and then up to our little European village. and then 2 lines here, one from the workers' commune to Ortiz Oil and back. Figured Ortiz would like that. And then one that kind of funnels around the harbor itself and stops at our bus station. However, I'm seeing that we're kind of out of vehicles. I'm gonna go through and see if there are any lines that have low usage but way too many buses that we can kind of bring back. All right, we'll see if some buses get freed up and make their way there, but I think that about does it for our connectors and circulators. So the last one we have to do is our express routes. All right, for our final route type, the express lines, we're just gonna go from Central Station to the outside connections beyond the map, and then one from City Hall Station to the countryside, since again, we have just the one train line going there during the day, so might as well provide a little bit more access out there, I guess. But I'm already seeing missing or no vehicles signs, so we might have to either extend our existing bus depots or maybe build a new one out by the subway yards out there. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For our external lines though, we're gonna call this the Dewey Metropolitan Express, DMX. And that was to, I think, Barnegat Light, was that it? And for all these external connections, since they're far away, they're gonna assign a bunch of vehicles. Yeah, we do not need 8. And I wanna make sure that we make them free because this is how homeless people will leave the city as well. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna not connect to that one. I'm gonna make that part of the one that hits up City Hall Station and the countryside. So a little more useful, I think. So instead, we'll go to these 2 over here. And sure enough, we are still very much out of vehicles. So yeah, let's plop down a quick bus depot over here and get rid of this weird kink. Don't know why I did that, but I'm not gonna completely detail this up, that probably for another episode, because this could be its whole new industrial district in and of itself. So instead, let's just keep this nice and simple and get a bus depot right along this street for here now. And we'll immediately add a few upgrades, I think. And that gives us a nice 55 more buses. So hopefully that's enough. We'll let them go catch their routes. And yeah, hopefully those no vehicle signs go away. And I think they already are, so yeah, we'll see. And look at that, our no vehicle icons have gone away. So we should have enough buses for now at least. But one thing I want to do, and probably should have done this when we actually did the routes, is now that we have a bunch of buses on the road, I want to get dedicated bus lanes on a couple of our routes, just to make sure they're not bogged down by regular traffic. So the first one I'm thinking about is along Mulberry Highway here. Even though it's not super busy right now, once we expand suburbs into these hills, this will become like a major arterial, so I want to make sure that buses have a nice free-flowing path for them. Same for over here by the Stadium District. We have a couple of lines going along here right now, and this is going to be a super touristy destination with big transfer points. So I'm thinking, let's get rid of the parking along Kent Street. I don't really want people parallel parking in front of stadiums anyway. We have dedicated parking lots for them, but we can use that room for instead a dedicated bus lane. We'll probably go from this intersection up to here. And then last, I'm thinking over by New Rickman, this stretch of Dale Street along here to this roundabout, just because it's very residential, so we'd have a lot of cars probably going along Dale Street. And also we have a couple of bus lines going along there. So let's start over by this Mulberry Highway. This will be an easy one. So we're gonna go to one-way public transport, replace tool, and I don't think I'll need anarchy, but basically I'm just gonna get both sides of the highway starting from, oh, I guess I do need anarchy. Starting from here, going all the way down to our intersection there and back. All right, that was easy enough. And also I like how it kind of like gives it a nice bright outline. Looks cool from space. All right, over by the Stadium District, I made a road with Road Builder that is basically this type of road with the decorated median. However, it has narrower sidewalks, no parking, and dedicated bus lanes instead. And it should be the same width as Kent Street, so nothing else should shift out of place. But let's go to Road Builder tool. It is the 4-lane divided, and I spelled divided wrong, lovely, with decorated median and bus lane. I'm gonna place this, and we should just be able to replace, let's do, yeah, this entire stretch up to this intersection right here. And I'm not going up to here because if I do that, you can see we'll have 2 lanes that force a U-turn. So instead, we'll just have 1 lane that forces a U-turn, I guess. Although we could maybe have both kind of maybe merge at the end or something like that. Or do something with this highway so it's bi-directional. But yeah, we'll worry about that later. For now though, I also want to make our loop have dedicated bus lanes since we got the big bus station right in there. Perfect, just like that. And then yeah, last, let's just use our regular replace tool. Let's go from, how about this intersection, since this is a major intersection with a lot of traffic going to and from it, a good ending point. Let's go all the way down to our roundabout and back. Just make sure nothing broke with our nodes and everything. Yep, should be good. Nice dedicated bus lanes to get you to the Morrisseys. Get your spinach and your avocados and stuff. And then the last like build thing I want to do before we head out is kind of rethink this central bus station. There are a couple things. One, I mean, it doesn't show right now, maybe because it's 1 a.m. in the morning, but this is a very busy bus station. You can see all the people lining up there, and buses always get backed up here because we only have the single lane here. And then also, as you can see right now, there's been a graphical glitch with this surface kind of overriding the pedestrian bridge. Yeah, just like that. And I've been staring at this thing for months and haven't done anything about it. So I think today is the day we're gonna fix this. I'm gonna remove the tile surface from this station, or this part of the station right here, and then add another bus lane kind of in the middle. We'll shift these props back, and then yeah, replace the surface with maybe another tile surface that kind of matches the aesthetic of the bus lane. So yeah, let's finally nip this in the bud. It is so nice not seeing the tiles poke through the pedestrian street now. Went for this orangish looking one since it kind of fit the theme of the bus lane color itself. And then moved a couple of the bus routes down to these new blocks here, although it seems like this one is still super busy. I wonder, can I see, it's a little hard to tell which bus lanes are where. You can see it kind of jumps all over the place. I doubt it's the DMX to Guaynabo, if you say that. That's the culprit there. Why all those people there? Let's see. 188. I guess a lot of people, I wonder if these are all homeless people leaving the city. All right, we'll see if that dies down. If not, I clearly need to, oh yeah, they're all funneling to there. Wow, and this is, yep, to Guaynabo. Guaynabo? I don't know. But yeah, if this gets backed up, we can more evenly distribute our lines across the now 6 bus lanes there. But all right, cool. I'm finally glad that I don't have to stare at those stupid tiles now. All right, y'all, I think that's where I'm going to end it today. A little bit different and not as much detailing, more about kind of management, which I definitely want to prioritize a little bit more as well, especially as we really start to densify the new downtown. And really this episode was kind of in preparation for starting to expand down here, finally. So this is coming. I feel like I keep saying that, but very soon. I'm thinking maybe like a feedback episode next where I implement some stuff like expanding the Martians field, doing some roundabouts and stuff like that. But then, yeah, finally the new downtown. Before we leave though, I just want to take stock of our new transportation system. So before the build, I took a look at the numbers of total transit users and it was around 29,000. So now if we open up our tab, all right, almost 37,000. So that is a pretty sizable increase. And I'm happy to see that. Oh, it worked, thank God. I also like to see that We have a pretty even distribution between buses, trams, and metro. Trains kind of rely on, outside connections and tourism, so not worried about that. But this kind of tells me that, yeah, we have a good even coverage, which, yeah, I'm happy to see. Happy that the planning actually panned out. What about line usage? This, I'm sure we probably have lines that don't make sense right now, especially since we haven't built the new city center. Although, there's tram. Tram's always high usage, love it. Metro, so keep in mind that these can carry like 1,000 people each car, so I don't know if our city's that big enough to merit, 100% usage, but I'm glad we're actually seeing usage at all. So this is cool to see. I think Dirt's 2 line is the one that goes to these empty stations to San Alvaro Heights, so not the highest usage, but again, once we start building downtown, I really expect these numbers to bump up. And then what about bus? All right, the center loop is super popular. Glad to see that. Got some, the countryside loop, not surprising here. Diego Industrial Park, probably because we have, this is the one that goes throughout. So yeah, maybe that's, not necessary if we have the metro there. So this is a good view to come back to and see maybe we don't need all these filler buses, these ones that kind of go within neighborhoods. So good to keep tabs on, but looks like we got some popular ones. Glad to see that. And of course, our external connections are very popular. I wonder if this is all the, probably the game ejecting our homeless population. So I expect these to be super busy as well. But all right, if you have any suggestions or feedback, hit me up in the comments. Any bus routes you think I missed or better connections to be made, maybe more dedicated bus lanes, like maybe through, what is this, Elizabeth Street, or maybe down along the Riverside Park. Although we have some dedicated parking there, I think that'd be a little weird. But yeah, this was a fun one, and I hope you all can take away some lessons, bring back to your city, and excited to see how this transportation network handles our eventual new city center. So with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.